Sri Lanka Matters. That's the Boston Lanka, a new program that focus on peace, unity, and harmony of Sri Lanka. And this program, we want to offer a platform to those who live in Sri Lanka, as well as to the Sri Lankan community who are living abroad, to share their views without any restriction. So today in this program, we have Daya Gamage, who's joining from USA, and Arun Siddharth, who's joining from Jaffna, Sri Lanka. So I just want to welcome both of you to this program. Welcome Daya, welcome Arun.
Thank you. Thank you.
And in fact, they both have very wide experience and backgrounds, and I could go on and on talking about themselves, but let me briefly give introductions to both of them. Daya, in fact, he had a wealth of experience as a political specialist, especially he's a retired Foreign Service national political specialist who worked for more than 25 years for the United States State Department. And also in Sri Lanka, in the Sri Lankan Embassy in USA, he had worked as a political specialist, especially had done a lot of work during 88-89 period, during the insurrection by the Sinhalese youth, the JVP, and also during the war, Elam War. And also, Daya has published a book called Tamil Tigers Dead to America. And I'm sorry, the name of the book is Tamil Tigers Dead to America, US Foreign Policy Adventurism. And of course, he has like I said, the wealth of knowledge in US foreign policy towards Sri Lanka as well. And then Arun Siddharth, in fact, he's the president of Jaffna Civil Society Center. And he's a journalist as well, had 5 years experience working in these well-known Tamil newspapers, Veera Kesari and Thinnakaran. And he has covered diplomatic affairs during his time as a journalist. I think a lot of people probably may know his father, Arulanandam, who's a founding member of the Communist Party at the Peking wing in Sri Lanka. And of course, I'm sure we can talk about this. I'm sure he had a lot of values his father had given to him through his political background. And one of the other things I want to mention here is Arun was instrumental in organizing this unity march that they have done from south to north, from Devendra, point of Devendra, and then Point Pedro. So I want to welcome all of you. Both of you. Now, Daya, let me ask the first question from you. Now, we know US and Sri Lanka has a long-standing friendship as two nations. And of course, USA has done some significant logistical support during the 30-year war in Sri Lanka. And also US is also the main export partner of Sri Lanka. So there's some bond between US and Sri Lanka. And at the same time, there's sometimes you see this love-hate relationship between US and Sri Lanka as well. Now, with the Biden administration, I'm sure it's a different approach to US foreign policy. And how do you think this Biden administration's view on Sri Lanka's strategic importance?
Actually, some of the principal officials of the Biden administration were very much involved in foreign affairs, diplomatic affairs, and defense sector during the previous Democratic administration under Barack Obama. Now the present Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was in the US State Department as #2 during the during the Obama administration. So they are quite well versed about what's happening in Sri Lanka, really. In fact, it was during the Obama administration that the Sri Lanka war against the separatist Tamil Tigers were on, really. Obama came to power in 2009, and the war was going on. And in fact, I must first let the viewers know and the listeners know that United States never wanted Sri Lanka divided. No. That if someone is thinking that US wanted Sri Lanka divided, no. My experience for 25 years with the US State Department and in the American Embassy is that US never wanted Sri Lanka divided. But the fact remains that they always were concerned about the minority Tamils, their rights. So Sri Lanka, the United States always, in 1984, 86, there were two documents, classified documents that were uh, prepared by the CIA and the State Department South Asia Division, and they talk about the minority issues, the Tamil issues. And in fact, at that time, they were saying that that there should be some sort of a devolution of power to the provinces, especially to the northern provinces. So it is that, and also that they were not prepared. That was the time that Sri Lanka was governed by Mr. J.R. Javadan as the president. They never wanted to send any military assistance because they felt that such military assistance may be uh, used against the minority Tamils. So that mindset continuously had until about 2009, until 2009 May 18, when the war was over, and thereafter the United States sponsoring resolutions from 2012 to 2015, 2017 in the UNHRC, United Nations Human Rights Commission in Geneva. So they were very much concerned about Sri Lanka national issues, but there were a number of things that the United States couldn't understand. So I will come to that when the discussion is on.
Right. Thank you there. Let me ask this, Arun. I think this made news in Sri Lanka, especially when you started this unity march that I just mentioned in my introduction. Now, Arun, I know you even face some criticism or opposition from the Tamil community in North and East when you started this. What made you start this unity march, and also what's your expectation out of it?
I just want to point out it's a criticism not from the Tamil community. It's from the Tamil politicians, especially because they usually they don't want us to be united. Even they separated us from Silvanayagam. I think it's somewhere around 1970s. They used this strategy as a political tool. They divide us and they ruled us. That's the simple theory of their politics. So I just want to show the international community that we don't have any problem with Sinhalese. Seriously, we don't have. That's the truth. We don't have any problem with them because 58% of Tamils still living in out of the northeast area. So we had a very good relationship. I think more than 2,000 years we are lived together very peacefully. So I just want to rebuild that relationship, and I just want to show the international community we are together. And yes, we have problems. We have it. You see, there is no nation is perfect in anywhere else in the world. So we had administrative level problems, right? But we never had ethnic issues. I strongly deny that word ethnic clashes or ethnic conflict. I don't see it. This is not an ethnic conflict. This is a conflict between power sharing. We can tell like that. So you see, we had very good relationship with Sinhalese. all over the years. So I just want to rebuild that, and I just want to recall our memories. And we went to Matara, we received us very kindly, and we helped us. So many Tamils came with me. The youth, first time they see a singular area, even they did not travel the single area. They told me, when we come to Matara, the people, some people says us, don't go there, you will have problem with Sinhalese, they will beat you and they will do something harm to you. But everybody received us very kindly and helped us. So this is what we need. This is the message we have to give the world. We are united. We have no problem with Sinhalese or Muslims or Burghers or Malays. We are a pluralistic country. We can live very peacefully with other races.
That's we want to commend that. That is a very noble thought. I think I know it's not easy to bring the community together. Like you said, sometimes our political leaders try to divide us, right? So,
Yes.
but I think we'll come to that. I think because I feel like there's some kind of I hear that there's a disconnect between what the political leaders want and what the people, like for even you're talking about Tamil political leaders, what they want and what really the Tamil people want, right? Is that the right way to say that?
Yes, that is, that is, these two are it's very different. The aspirations of Tamil, right, is different, and the aspirations of Tamil politicians are different. We need a peaceful life. We want to live very peacefully with Sinhalese. That's our entire wish. But we have a communication problem between both of us. So until today, I see there is no initiative taken by Tamil political leadership to merge these two communities. If the peace building means dialogue and discussion. So if I don't know your language, you don't know my language, and we don't have a common language, so how can we build peace? So this is the basic root cause of this problem. We have a communication issue, seriously. So we have to address that. That should be come from it. The initiative should taken by political leadership. They have to look after this issue, but they don't do that. That is a tragedy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, obviously there's a communication gap.
Even they don't let us. They don't let us to study Sinhala. You see, Vigneshwaram, you see, when he was the chief minister of Northern Province, there are allocations to funds allocated by central government to appoint Sinhala teachers to the Tamil schools, but they never fulfilled that. A single teacher never appointed under Vigneshwaran's leadership when he was chief minister. But he himself studied in Royal College. He himself had very close links with Sinhala politicians. His children still study Sinhala language, but they tell us, don't study Sinhala. It's not our language, and they put hated thoughts.
Chitral, I want to go a little beyond what Arun Siddharth said. There are certain things that the government of Sri Lanka has not focused on to tell the world the exact position, exact situation in Sri Lanka. Also, on the other hand, Chitral, the United States and the Western countries, when they were negotiating for peace and a number of things, they didn't understand the ground situation of Sri Lanka. Here is the ground situation of Sri Lanka that I understand and that I always stress. Sri Lanka is divided into 3 sectors. 77% is rural, 19% is urban, and 5% is plantation. Now in the urban areas in 18%, the 19% urban areas, there is 18% of people living in that, of the total of Sri Lanka's population, 18% live in that thing. Now, who are these 18% who are living? The Sinhalese, Tamils, and Muslims. Now, urban areas, as Chitral, you and even Mr. Siddharth know, that that is the area that you have advanced educational facilities, enhanced health facilities, social upliftment for people, and also the employment opportunities. And all three communities enjoy those things. Now here I take the rural areas. 77% of people in that rural areas, like Mononagala and Kilinochi. You see, two areas, Tamil area and the Kithni. They are the people who don't have much of educational facilities. Teachers are less in those schools. Health problems are there, health issues are there, and then there is less employment opportunities. These are the two areas that the United States, the Western countries who came in for negotiations, and Sri Lankan government did not understand. Actually, Sri Lankan government should have told what this whole thing is. In fact, I see this, and also as Arun said, more than 50% of people are living outside North and East. Why is this? 1983 was a bad time. The so-called Sinhalese, I use that, so-called Sinhalese who were connected to the then government attacked the Tamils. But then who gave blood for those Tamils who were injured? 90% were Sinhalese people, you see. And in fact, my parents kept up two Tamil families in our own basement to protect them. A lot of people did that. So, so now with all that LTT coming into the Sinhalese areas, even damaging the temple of the tooth in Kandy and killing about 160 Buddhist monks who were praying, and 2 buses of children, this thing, Sinhalese never reacted to that after 83. So these are the things that has to be told to the international community by the government of Sri Lanka. You see, so that those are the things that I try to stress.
Right. But there now, I understand all that. Now, at the same time, now the war has ended like 12 years ago. And I mean, I think there's a dissatisfaction in not only international community, but even maybe some in the Tamil community as well, that there could be the government, whatever, not only this government, even the previous government could have done more to bring the people together, bring harmony, bring build, like Arun said, bring build bridges. You think we have missed something during the last 2 years, 12 years there?
There are a couple of things that we missed really. As Arun Siddharth said, that definitely it's a communication problem. I mean, here is a situation where the Sinhalese have to learn some Tamil to communicate, and the Tamils have to learn some Sinhalese to communicate. Now see, there is only the elite group who have Sinhalese and Tamils who know both languages, and they just keep it like that. There is only about 10% or 12% of people in Sri Lanka who knows English, and they would like to keep it that way because they don't want anyone else to learn English. So that is one area that need to be tended. Now, also other thing is that economic development. As I said, if you are investing in Mononagala, a Sinhalese area, invest in Kilinochi and Vaunia in economic development. Those are the two rural areas that are behind really. It is not the Kandy, Jaffna, Colombo, Galle. Those are the areas where the government of Sri Lanka is concentrating really. You see. Now, so that is what I say, that economic development should reach to the ordinary people who are 77% of rural people. That is what economic development should see that. So that I think in that way we lack we lack this way. We disappointed the Tamil people as well as the Sinhalese people in economic development. That's what I see.
Yeah. I think Arun mentioned also about this. Some children of politicians, they in Tamil community, they get a different kind of education than the regular Tamil community. But Arun, I want to get back to something else with you. I know you are a journalist covering, especially even during the wartime. So you must have seen these atrocities, firsthand, because there's all kinds of accusations about atrocities from both sides, LTT as well as the government forces. Tell us about your experience. I mean, what do you what can you talk about that?
Yes, I was a diplomatic affairs journalist on that time till Mavilaru war, till the Mavilaru issue. So we have very close contact with international diplomats as well as LTT Peace Secretariat and Sri Lankan government Peace Secretariat also. I had very close I can directly call to LTT Peace Secretariat and we can talk to Tamil Chelvan or Bulidevan or anybody else. So there are so many internal facts, something we cannot expose outside or we cannot write, even we know the truth. So I am on that time, we were, as a journalist, were depressed. We see our freedom. I can, because I'm being a Tamil, the people who told us what they are fighting for us, right? LTT always claimed what they claimed is they are fighting for Tamil, but where we know they had so many secret concentration camps. Even myself, I visited too. Vallipunam, Vattuvakkal and Tunukka. There are nearly around 2,500 to 4,000 Tamil youth were captured by LTT and detained there. They all killed by LTT. So these things we cannot, on that time, we cannot talk to the media because you know how LTT ruled us. So they always talked about minority rights, political rights, and blah, blah, all the rights they claimed, but they never gave us any rights. Even we cannot speak, we cannot express our, what you call, they say now, expression of what you call freedom of expression. Yes, but we never had that. All the Tamils know the negative side of LTTE, but till today, they are scared to speak up against that. That is the common thing. So if you ask anybody else, anybody who is independent thinker, he can tell you, reveal so many things. And the so-called peace makers, they also played really different parts. We know that. Even I can accuse directly Norway and other countries, but diplomatically it is no use for us now. So we are depressed and we are powerless on that time as the ordinary people. We, the people who affected by this unnecessary war. I name this is unnecessary war. This is not a freedom struggle. This is I know personally there was a big business around this war. Everybody benefited in this war. They are the people who are still trying to create problems. Even there are people who claim they are fighting for minority rights. I can namely tell you Vishwanathan Rudrakumaran, who is based in US, right? And Canadian Tamil Congress. It's a LTT organization. It's not pro-LTT, it's LTT organization. They all made a good money. That's the thing. So till today, they are trying to do that again and again.
Arun, now, I know like especially even the Tamil diaspora and maybe some people in Sri Lanka as well, they call this LTT our boys. They have a lot of, the way they talk about them with so much love. So what you are saying is, are they people are, especially I'm talking about Tamil community in North and East, are they happy that they are no longer under LTT rule? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, definitely. You see, these 12 years, past 12 years after 2009 only, we even had a chance to speak up, right? We can move around. We can write what we like, right? We can speak. We can choose we can choose a political, which politics if I want to do some politics, I can choose that. So before 2009, we never had this. There are so many reports. You go through UTHR report. That was the independent, credible report by University Teachers for Human Rights. So all of them are killed by Prabhakaran. He simply ordered killing as if ordering a cup of tea like that. He killed. This month is I can remember you, St. John's principal, Mr. Anandaraj. He was my master on that time, my parent, my uncles are St. John's school. So he was shot dead, and Central College principal was shot dead in front of his students. So there are so many, if you are independent, you can't live under LTT controlled area. If you want to live, you have to shut your mouth and you can live. So that the so-called diaspora means what they are the people who had economical power to get out from this place, right? So actually 90% of this diasporas are not political asylum seekers. They all are economical asylum seekers, right? But the people who are really affected, they never had a chance to get out from the places, because we don't have a, if now today, even today, if you want to go to Canada, you have to pay more than 1 crore. So the amount, the black money. So this diaspora means we don't care a damn for them, because this is the real truth. But there are people who are seriously affected by this war and the conflict, and they get out from the country. But that people again coming to the country. I can give you so many. Today I met a person who is from Germany. He came back after 2009 and he settled here. But ask Rutra Kumaran or somebody else if they really love their homeland, ask them to come. Now there is no war, there is no conflict. If they really love, they have to come back. But they don't come. You see, they just even their children don't study Tamil. They speak English.
I want to go a little beyond what add something to Arun Siddharth, what Arun Siddharth said. Actually, some of the activists in the diaspora, Tamil diaspora. I'm not talking about the broad Tamil diaspora. I'm talking about certain activists within the Tamil diaspora. They have been having contact, dialogue with Western policymakers, US, UK, Germany, Norway, with all the policymakers from about 2000, and Arun knows that. And they have been influencing the policymakers and lawmakers in this thing. Now, most recently, on the 18th of May, the 12th anniversary of the end of the war, in the US Congress, Foreign Relations Committee was submitted by a resolution, which was talking about number of things. There are a lot of misinformation in those in that resolution that was placed there. Now, my point is this: the activists within the Tamil diaspora who were once working very closely with Prabhakaran and the LTT are influencing the policymakers and the lawmakers of the United States and other countries. Now, this is what the Sri Lankan government need to understand. They need to understand this, and then and it's very difficult to change the mindset of the lawmakers, the congressmen. It's very difficult. But there is a governing bodies in the United States, like the State Department, especially in the White House. National Security Council is the one that formulates foreign policy, not the State Department. Foreign, there are people who are handling South Asia human rights. Now, these are the people that the government of Sri Lanka should approach and tell the real story. I don't think that the government of Sri Lanka has so far done all that work, and that is why the activists of the Tamil diaspora are again.
Yeah, as you said, there are now the resolution 413 that's now in Congress, and maybe I think because we don't have enough time now, but I think that's some area we need to cover in our next follow-up interview. I think what Arun said, I think it's so important as well. This idea that mostly end of the day, some people are stuck in Sri Lanka, and they are the ones who really need to work together as two communities and work with the government. And on the government side, I think they have to be more sensitive and more, reach out to certain, some minority communities. So there's so much to give and take, I think. But I want to wrap up this interview because we don't have enough time now. But I would really appreciate both inputs from you, Daya, as well as you, Arun. But I really would like to have a follow-up, maybe more than one follow-up interviews, if you don't mind, because like Daya said, there's so much we need to talk. How the Sri Lankan government responds to the Geneva Council and all that, and also some of the misconceptions the US policymakers may have. It's not their problem, it's our problem, or the Sri Lankan community or the government. They have to educate some of these things because, there's
we have to clarify them, because not only Bill 104, recently adopted by Canadian MPP. So we, as Tamils live in Jaffna, we don't agree that word genocide. We never had a genocide in Sri Lanka. It maybe we can call like the casualties of war. There is no fair wars in anywhere else. So the terminology, basically the terminology genocide is we are opposing that, we are denied that we never had such things. So we have to clarify that, and we are trying to make a case in Canada also. We will do that. We are collecting evidence. We have so many evidence for that. So if you go through the 104 bill, it's put by Mr. Vijay Thanikasalan. He is the person who brought it to the Canadian Ontario. So he himself is a relative of Prabhakar.
Thank you.
And he went from Sri Lanka when he was 14 years old. And you go through his speech in the Ontario Parliament, there are so many misleading information. He says in one point, 146,000 people killed in last war, right? It's according to his speech. But you see, this is Amnesty International report. This is Jane's International Crisis Group report. Nobody else, the independent reports are here. So last 5 months, nearly 7,000 people were killed. Not people, combatants and everybody. Right. This is the report from International Crisis Group.
Sure. Arun, I'm sorry, I had to. We don't have time, but definitely we'll get back to you. And that I think there's so much to talk. I'm so appreciate very much you coming together for this, and definitely we'll have another conversation. Okay.
Thank you, Chitral.
Thank you so much.
We have a lot to talk.
Yes, we'll do. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much.